All right, I think we are rolling in. Rolling in. All right. Definitely going live today, people. Few mishaps today, and we're back live with it. L Boogie reaction the building. And yeah, man. We're gonna watch some clips today about Ben Shapiro and Nick Fuentes. All right. So having a few discussions alongside one of my associates, and this is definitely one of those topics that I wanted to have today. All right. Hit the like button, sub up to the channel if you haven't already. And we're gonna get into it. All right. So let's see here. So we're gonna go over to Valuetainment. This is the PVD podcast. I'm assuming that this is their clips channel where they, play clips and talk about, or have discussion with the people that they, let's see here. Yep, so let's go. We're gonna play Valuetainment's channel. Hit the like button, sub up to the channel if you haven't already. And please, please, please share the content. We had a pretty ferocious segment yesterday. A lot of people were, basically expressing themselves in the comments. They had a lot to say about DEI, about, black people in America, et cetera, which is fine. We're all entitled to our opinions. So all of the people that were, having their discussions about that, maybe they come in today and let's see what they have to say about this particular topic. It's a lot of sensitive content on YouTube, people, but you have to get in where you fit in at, all right? Let's bring this down a little bit, man. Make sure y'all subbing up to the channel. We ain't gonna slow down for a long shot. We're up to 1,400 subs. I really appreciate all of the people that have been tuning in and rocking out with L Boogie Reacts. We're gonna keep it going. Make sure you sub up to the channel. Yeah. If people are enlightened about this subject with Ben Shapiro and Nick Fuentes and it involving the Israel government alongside the conservative government, then leave a comment or hit the chat, express yourself. All right. Hopefully y'all enjoy the content today. And we'll go from there. Let's see here. So we're just putting some links in the chat. If you want to support the channel, there's a few ways in the description of not in the description. Well, yeah, in the description. And then also, you can also support the channel through this link. As soon as I get the link, then I'll drop it. All right, here we go. And like I said, we'll keep talking. We'll keep, just giving our reaction to content about things that we're seeing going on in America right now currently. We'll keep doing our thing, okay? Let me drop this link in the chat. Post that for y'all, all the people that want to support the channel. So yeah, Bibi Netanyahu, I believe that's his name, or Benjamin Netanyahu, however they say his name, Ben Shapiro, and then Nick Fuentes. So we got a couple clips. I think I wanted to play this one first. Let me go back. We had Nick Fuentes on Ben Shapiro.
You're a white Catholic? Start acting like it. Don't be such a coward. And listen, and Matt Walsh, when he is ready to just talk about the real issue, I will shake his hand. I will apologize. I will be right there with him. But until that day comes, I have to call you out. It's not personal. I don't hate
Hopefully
you.
I
I
don't
think
get
he's
kicked.
a bad guy, but he is.
Hopefully I don't get kicked down for this, but I have seen people playing his content from Rumble. I'm assuming he's on Rumble. So people have been playing his clips or whatever. Hopefully we good, for the most part. Let's go.
Being a coward. You are being a coward. I will hear no more chest beating, chest thumping by white men who are so cowardly they won't talk about who is really taking our sovereignty from us. Don't you notice it's always these white men, and I'm going to vilify him in the other direction for a moment, pardon me. It's all these white men beating their chest. Our civilization, explorers, pioneers, conquerors, these brown people could never. Oh, really, tough white man? Oh, really, big white man? My ancestor? The founding fathers would never. What do you think the founding fathers would say about you working for Ben Shapiro, huh? What do you think George Washington, the hero, the titan, what do you think George Washington, or any of them for that matter, would think about you working for Ben Shapiro? What do you think about America going?
I think I kind of can see where this is stemming from. And once again, we don't promote violence nor hate speech over here at all by a long shot, okay? But I can see how people can get offended with the guy speaking from his standpoint about working or representing something that someone else stands for. In this case, I believe he stands for the Jewish power, or the Jewish government. Ben Shapiro does, and so Nick Fuentes is completely against that. Now I have heard Nick Fuentes say stuff about the black, about blacks in America as well. So I'm not taking sides on this. We're just reacting. Okay, let's keep going.
Going to war for Israel. What do you think they would say about Jews running the Ivy Leagues, Jews running the media, Jews running our Congress, bribing our politicians, controlling the National Security Council, the State Department, the Pentagon? The money, the printing of the money. What do you think they would say about that? What do you think they would say about you? Do not even say, founding fathers. You don't have the right. You have no right. Keep their names out of your fucking mouth, Matt Walsh. That name, George Washington, Alexander Hamilton, keep those names out of your mouth as long as you're working for Ben Shapiro, you fucking traitor. We need to unite against the left. No, pal. We need to unite as Americans for our sovereignty and independence. It ain't a difference of opinion.
Most definitely.
Clear as crystal. That is the predicament that we're in. We are occupied, and it ain't by Muslims. It's by Jews, obviously. And
that's. Let's keep going.
Listen, they need to hear that from their right wing. They need to hear that from their right flank. I appreciate Glenn Greenwald and Michael Tracy giving these guys a hard time. They need to hear it from someone on their right. I'm not pro-immigration. I'm not pro any of this stuff. So it's for your own good. It's for your own damn kids, Matt.
All right. That was a topic on Matt Walsh. And then this one right here is on Matt Walsh for being too cowardly to call out Jewish power. That name, George Washington, I think we just heard a bit of that.
Starting to see, and what you've been seeing for the past couple of years, is that people like Matt Walsh, and even people like Charlie Kirk until the day that he died, people like Steve Saylor, many of the Bronze Age.
This Charlie Kirk thing is it's a very sensitive topic. So that's where people were, coming into my chat. We were just playing a video with Charlie Kirk speaking to a young black man about DEI and, basically reparations in America. It really gets people blood to boiling, gets the skin to sizzling, like it's, like crackling skins, like they get very sensitive about it. And I'm trying to really decode why. That's basically why I'm reacting to this content at this point. I'm trying to decode why people get so hell-bent, over subjects like this. Let's keep going.
Pervert crowd, these people like Raw Egg Nationalist, Lomez, etc. They are really ramping up the nativist rhetoric to sort of compensate for the fact that they will never criticize Israel or the Jews. And let's think about this in terms of systems here. When we talk about whites and Muslims, whites and blacks, whites and Hispanics, we're talking about identity politics. We're talking about the politics of immutable, essential identities. What does it mean to be an American?
Most definitely.
What does it mean to be white? What does it mean to be an immigrant? This is the politics of identity. And it's the politics of these immutable, essential characteristics like race, religion, whether we're native or foreign born, what language we speak, all the things that come with being a white American versus a non-white foreigner. And if that's the way we're thinking about politics, and I think that's the way we all are thinking about politics, why then does that never extend to Jews for somebody like Matt Walsh? In other words, we can talk about Muslims bringing Sharia law, and we can all agree that as white Americans, that's undesirable. And we could talk about how Muslims are taking up too much space and too much power in certain cities. Do we want a city to be all Muslim? Do we want to live in a city with a Muslim mayor, health commissioner, police commissioner, the signs are in Arabic script? Of course not. That's the relation.
Okay, well, we have preached that, America's a diverse country, right? I think that at one point, America was just bringing in all different types of, different people from different walks of life to work together to, make this country great or whatever. And so now I'm assuming that Nick Fuentes is one of those guys from the right, the conservative, where he's like, hey, they're taking up space. That's what it sounds like at this point. That's why I said I don't really agree with his message. I'm really just playing it because now you have him speaking against a guy like Ben Shapiro, who basically represents another nation. All right. That's what I'm taking from this whole subject. Let's keep going.
Between white and Muslim people in America because of mass migration. But why then do the same people that are so eager and so vocal, so incendiary, these people that are the biggest culture warriors, the toughest talkers about Muslims or blacks or immigrants or illegals or Hispanics or Indians, why do those people never talk about Jews? Why do they never talk about the race relations between whites and Jews or Jews and everybody else? In other words, you're willing to say that the mayor of Dearborn is Muslim and the municipal government of Dearborn is too Muslim. But how come you never talk about how America's government is too Jewish? Why are you willing to talk about one but not the other? You talk about our black crime problem. You talk about the Muslim Dearborn problem. You talk about the Hispanic illegal immigrant problem. And by the way, those are all problems. That's all legitimate. But you never talk about the Jewish running media, academia, Hollywood.
I can tell now you can't even say that word Jew, because like it won't even pop up in like your search bar. Like you can't say that word, the word Jew, because a lot of times is promoted as hate speech, for some reason. I don't know why, and I do know why. But I do also see why they don't like you to say the word because a lot of people are using it. Now, from the right side, you can hear a man speaking and he's like, hey, we want to represent our country, right? But you got a whole bunch of other people representing the country that are not from America. And they have this powerful nation,
Government finance problem?
It's a lot.
Why not? You're willing to list all the Muslim-sounding names and they're called to prayer in Dearborn? Why don't you say the same thing about all the Jews in Surfside, Florida? Or how about all the Jews in Brooklyn, New York? Or how about all the Hasidic Jews that have basically created colonies in New Jersey, all over New York, in LA, in South Florida? How about, forgive me, how about all the Jewish names in Hollywood, in the financial industry? How about the 5 out of 8 Ivy League universities that have Jewish presidents? How about the endless talk about the Holocaust and playing the shofar and hearing?
So that was one of the topics yesterday in the chat, that the Holocaust gets brought up a lot, right? Now, from a black man standpoint, we just bringing up slavery. We want to bring up slavery, and we're confused on why we don't get the same kind of respect when it comes to slavery as the people from Israel, the J people, the small hats, why don't we get that same respect? And for the most part, it kind of correlates to what, one of the biggest subjects in America right now, this small hat conversation. It's extremely large right now. Let's keep going.
The Torah and the Talmud and all this. We never hear that from Matt Walsh. We never hear that from all these conservatives. Why not? And I'm just getting really sick and tired of conservatives that pretend to be, and what they're doing is compensating. Pretending to be based by punching down against black people with no agency, illegal immigrants with no legal standing, Muslims who are foreign in every sense of the word, but are absolutely terrified and cowardly when it comes to confronting Jewish power.
Facts.
And that would
Nah,
be
that
punching
is
up.
true.
And it's not to say that we don't have a problem with black crime. It's not to say that we don't have a problem with illegal Hispanics or others for that matter. It's not to say we don't have a problem with Indians on work visas. It's not to say we don't have a problem with this Muslim invasion of certain specific communities and townships. But when you look at the overarching problem, when you look at the overarching foreign influence in America, it's not coming from any of these localized groups. It's not coming from any of these low agency third world groups. It's coming from the transnational Jewish syndicate, which is really in the big leagues. And so, you know, for somebody like Matt Walsh, hey man, just answer the question. I tweeted at him.
Yes, not sub up to the channel, sorry. Make sure y'all hitting the like button also alongside subbing up to the channel if you're enjoying the content, you know, just enjoying the reaction to what's being said on the screen. We got 140 people. Let's make sure that the views are matching the likes, basically. Let's go.
Today, you're willing to say all
Appreciate
the
it,
Muslim
Phoenix.
names in Dearborn. On some level, who gives a fuck? It's Dearborn, Michigan. Jews run America. Hello? And I'm not saying, by the way, before anybody jumps in, I'm not saying
allegedly. I'm going to say allegedly on everything. And like I said, once again, this is for educational purposes, entertainment purposes only. All right, let's keep going.
As a Muslim colony. I'm not happy about that. But it's Dearborn, Michigan. Yes, Dearborn, Michigan is a colony of Muslims. Washington, D.C., New York City, Los Angeles, Miami are colonies of the Jews. Are you going to talk about that? Because unless and until you're willing or able to talk about all those Jewish names, all those foreign-sounding names with their foreign religion, their foreign desert religion and culture, then don't try to pretend like you're some sort of pro-white advocate. Don't pretend like you're brave or courageous or some kind of culture war, some kind of patriot. You're not a patriot. You are an accommodationist. You work for Ben Shapiro. And by the way, this is the same guy who three weeks ago said, we just need to bring the whole right wing together. We need to unite the right. Unite the right against what? Dearborn, Michigan's mayor? How about uniting the right against the Jewish mothership controlling America? Then we can deal with Dearborn. Then we can deal with Minneapolis. Why don't we start with the ADL, AIPAC, B'nai B'rith, Hillel, the Israeli Foreign Ministry, the fucking U.S. State Department. Why don't we start there? BlackRock, Blackstone. I mean, why don't we start with the actual institutions that have power?
Yo, BlackRock definitely own majority of the stock in America. BlackRock has their hands, and I'm going to say allegedly, but BlackRock has a lot of money tied up into the stock in America. And he's saying, hey, that's basically from that's a foreign entity, basically. You know, BlackRock and Vanguard. I've heard that multiple times. You can even see it probably on your 401k where, you know, Vanguard has a lot of stock investments with your corporation. And let's keep going.
Which are being influenced by a foreign country or foreign influence. So I saw that tweet today, and it is just another reminder that it is as important what someone does not say equally as much as what they are saying. So someone like Matt Walsh goes on Twitter naming the Muslim mayor of Dearborn. Hey, good stuff, Matt. When are you going to talk about the Jewish mayor of America? Hello, his name is Prime Minister Netanyahu. And it never ceases to amaze me, these kind of gruff, middle-aged white guys, and yes, I'm calling out my fellow white men. It never ceases to amaze me, these gruff, middle-aged white guys with beards, drinking their Black Rifle coffee, wearing their flannel shirts, rolling up their sleeves. You know, they got so much to say about the blacks, about the Muslims, about the immigrants. They will never say boo about the Jews. And that's just cowardly, as far as I'm concerned. That's just cowardly and sad. Matt Walsh's show every single day is a screed. I don't think that's hyperbolic to say. I watch his show. Every day it's a screed. Foreigners, Somalis, Arabs, illegals, savages, animals. I want heads on pikes, communists, etc. That's his show.
Shout out to the new subscribers.
Every day. It's rage porn. It's invective. And once again, don't get me wrong, agree on most of it. But who is the author of most of it? Who is the author of communism, Matt? Who is the author of transgenderism? Who is the author of the melting pot? Who is the author of the open society of America? Who is the author of these things? Will you answer that question on your show? Day in, day out, screed against these browns and blacks and this, that, and the other. And look.
You know what's crazy though? Like, it seems like the right and the left, they want to fight over these, the things that are changing within this country. So basically, Nick Fuentes is siding with the right, the conservative, the Republican, and then you have a person like Ben Shapiro. I'm assuming, I'm gonna just say allegedly, he's siding with the left, who basically are tied in with the foreign entities. They're a lot of times they're bringing in these other foreign nationalists, and they're making sure that they're able to get their agendas across. So they're fighting like that at this point. We got foreign entities fighting through within these political parties. All right. That's what it's sounding like. If I'm wrong, someone please correct me. Give me some updates, some information on that. It's kind of like they hide behind these, like those foreign entities basically hide behind these political groups, if I'm not mistaken, allegedly.
And I get it. But that's sort of low-hanging fruit. Let's talk about the big picture here. Or are we afraid to do that because of who's down the hall and to the left in the big chair in the executive suite? Well, and what's ironic even about that, Ben Shapiro isn't even down there in Nashville. It's too good for him.
Even when it comes to like the freedom of speech thing, right? Like that's one of those things that's kind of like being pulled from up under our feet because there are other national groups involved with it. And so now they have some say-so in how we can speak about things like, Israel and the small hats and it's like they're the ones that's like, hey, we're running things, so you're not going to be able to say shit, about us because, this is how we're rolling, basically, if I'm not mistaken.
Nashville. He's in South Florida with his homeboys. Because you would say something like, hey, Matt Walsh, maybe before you criticize Israel, why don't you walk down the hall and clear it with your boss? But Shapiro's not even in the same office building. All the Daily Wire staff are in Nashville. Shapiro's in South Florida in the Jewish colony. If that doesn't say it all, I mean. So anyway, I saw that tweet. This was my reply. I said, quote, you constantly talk about how cities like Dearborn or Minneapolis are run by Muslims, which is a problem. Why don't you ever talk about government, academia, media, Hollywood, finance being run by Jews? Did the founding fathers intend on that? Did they
I guess
intend on people with Steen and Berg and Witz? Were those people supposed to be running the banks, the news, the government, the State Department? I don't think so.
Well, Kanye had brought that up.
Get real. Get a grip, man. You're a white Catholic. Start acting like it. Don't be such a coward. And listen, and Matt Walsh, when he is ready to just talk about the real issue, I will shake his hand. I will apologize. I will be right there with him. But until that day comes, I have to call you out. It's not personal. I don't hate you. I don't even think he's a bad guy, but he is being a coward. You are being a coward. I will hear no more chest beating, chest thumping by white men who are so cowardly they won't talk about who is really taking our sovereignty from us.
Okay. So we heard that part, those last 3 minutes. We heard that part. Now let's go to this one. This is the
who was
one
their candidate? I know there was DeSantis 2020, but who were they 2018 to frustration and animosity
This is
towards them?
valuetainment.
Wyatt already had animosity towards him.
Why is that?
So in December, some months before, I put out a tweet on Twitter, and I had about 1,000 followers on Twitter. 1,000. Think of that's not a big account. And I tweeted, I said, if you put China over America, you should go to China. If you put Mexico over America, you should go to Mexico. You see where this is going? I said, if you put Israel over America, you should go live in Israel. Shapiro quote tweeted that and said, accusing Jews of dual loyalty is the surest sign that you're an anti-Semite.
At 1,000 followers? Why would you retweet that?
Someone must have sent it to him.
It's very obvious, the nations you can't speak about in America. And I'm like, well, damn, isn't this America? Alexander Heck, appreciate you subbing up to the channel. Kevin Ellis in the building. Salute to you, bro. Yeah, like, aren't we in America? It does bewilder me that you can't speak about certain people, but we all know why. He just explained it to you. Now, like I said, people, I'm not on nobody's side in this situation. This is what you would call I ain't even gonna say that, okay? I ain't in the middle of this. As you can see, my people ain't clashing on this, and our people clashing on how we get treated in America. We don't even like to go into all of the different subjects of who's really running America, but we should, right? We should be focused on who's running America because we live in America. We don't want foreign entities taking over our government, but it seems as if they've already got their hands completely tied into it, right? And it's all in your media, like they said, it's all in your entertainment. They're tied to everything, right? And so for us to be controlled by that lets us know that we probably, more than likely, allegedly have lost our nation to those other nations. So I think that's when it becomes like people will be fed up. They will speak out against it. You might even be silenced for it, right?
Does he know anything about you at the time? Like, are you a formidable name in a circle that he would know about you?
He had been tipped off about me because Cassie Dillon had filmed this debate I did on campus.
Yeah.
She live streamed it on Twitter, and he saw it. And she texted him and said, "You got to take this guy under your wing. He's unbelievable. He's the next big thing. He's a little Trumpy," she goes, because they hated Trump at that time.
Who was their candidate? I know they were DeSantis 2020, but who were they 2024? But who were they?
Bro, I don't want to talk about no damn slave ships. I've yet to see a slave ship. But I mean, who do you say owns slave ships? You tell me. And like I said, man, really, if y'all really want to support the channel where I can keep the content going and all that, I don't have to keep stopping and stuff, man, make sure you hit the link. I'm not going to just keep stopping talking to everybody about everything they say. You just talk to the people in the chat. If you want a direct response, man, I'm not going to keep doing that. I can't keep stopping my show for people, man. I'm sorry.
During that time?
In 2016, they were for Rubio, Cruz.
Oh, Cruz was it back at that time. I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so she says you got to go because he's a little bit Trumpy. And then what's his response to her?
He said, "I'll take a look at him. I'll take a look at him."
And she told you that? So she said to you, I told Ben he should, and he said he'll take a look at you.
She sent me the screenshot, yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. So now this is starting to make sense. So at this point, while you're going through this, you when you put that tweet out, were you directing it towards him or not at all? Was it a general blanket statement?
It was a blanket statement.
So it was nothing like a little bit 10% was towards Ben.
I didn't tag him or anything. I mean,
I know, but were you like saying this is towards him? Because if you're saying, the feeling, when did you first get a feeling that Ben is Israel first?
It was right around the time that I realized that there was a lot of Israel first.
So just before December of, what would it be, 16? Is this
It was around that time,
okay.
Right around that time.
So you're kind of going through this process where you're like, I think Ben is Israel first. I don't know why he's not supporting Trump and he's going more Ted. And maybe Ted would be more pro-Israel. Even we saw the conversation with Ted and on what do you call it, Tucker a couple months ago, which I thought it was a great show on both ends. I actually liked watching it. I think it was good for the viewership. So you're talking to her. What is your goal in mind with her? Do you have any goal in mind? Like, do you want her to convert to your way of thinking?
Only.
Are you trying to kind of tell her, man, listen, you're going
for entertainment and educational purposes only.
To the dark side of where you're going right now? Is that kind of where you're going or not at all?
I was just, at that point, I wasn't even sure that I was right about any of it. I was earnestly asking.
Got it. Okay.
And saying why, like when I said, why do we give Israel this much money? At that time, that was not a rhetorical question. Because now it sort of is. When we say, why does Israel get more money? It's sort of a rhetorical, begging the question because they have this extraordinary influence. At that time, I was earnestly wondering, is there a reason? Is there a justified, good reason that there is this special relationship?
This is why black people can't get their damn reparations. They keep sending all their money to these other countries, man. Straight up and down. Now, that's just my opinion about it. Like, that's why when people be like trying to argue me down about why black people shouldn't get reparations and a lot of things like that, I'm like, bro, yeah, stop it, man. Y'all know how many nations and shit have strived and received restitution, monetary gain off of America? Like, stop it, man. Obviously, y'all want somebody at the bottom to do the job. Just say that. If you said it, it'll make fucking more sense. All right.
Between the countries.
Yep.
Because that is what she...
Word up. They handing out reparations out there. I ain't from Cali, man. I'm from North Carolina.
Believed. And
I'm from North Carolina.
Well, they would give these answers, but I would debate. I would
Bolo.
say, well, here's why that doesn't stand up. Here's why that
Appreciate
doesn't make
you,
sense.
Bolo.
And they became frustrated that I wouldn't let that go.
Same to you, bro.
So Ben retweets a guy's tweet with only 1,000 followers. But he knows about you because Cassie already told him that you should take this guy under your wings and he could be somebody. Is Ben married at the time?
I don't know.
Can you see,
Salute
was
to you,
Ben
Franklin.
married in December of 2020? 16, right? December 2016. He's been married in 2016. It's about okay. So he's already married. So he's already married. He's got his family. He's doing his thing. This happens. She steps away. You can't believe it. So that relationship is gone. Do you all of a sudden just go boom, double down on it, on points against Israel? Is that kind of where it goes? Or are you still subtle about it?
At that point, I was still somewhat subtle about it, at least publicly.
When did you go full on? Because if I'm not mistaken, I mean, you saw like the arguments against Israel happened a lot in the last, since October 7th, right? Charlie Kirk was sitting right here where you're sitting at in our other building, but in that seat. And it was 3 days or 4 days after October 7th. I think we were the first podcast he did where he actually questioned, how is it? He asked very fair questions. We're like, that's actually a very good question. How do you say you have the best intel, yet you're able to get them to attack you? You can't have one or the other, right? So innocent questions people are asking. I'm not speculating. I'm not saying anything.
You can't ask questions, though. That's the thing. Like, when you start talking about certain entities, man, like, they really give you a big fucking deal. You know, they make a big deal out of it. I'm gonna keep playing that, and then I'm gonna pull up
it's a good question for us to ask.
Talking.
So it wasn't like he was being anti-Semitic. He's purely asking a question, right? When did you go to that level?
To the level of asking questions, or beyond that?
Beyond that.
Beyond that, I would say it would have to be later that year. So later in the spring or summer of that year.
That year is
2017.
2017. Okay, so why 2017?
Well, like I said, I had been on this journey when I got into college and started asking these questions, and then I encountered this very political response, which is to say that they started to treat me as an adversary politically instead of like an interlocutor, instead of like I was debating them about this. And, you know, the next step in that, of course, is that, here's the best part, they didn't leave me alone. It's not like they said, we can't be friends, you do your thing, we do our thing. I got a call a couple weeks after the fact from my boss at RSBN. So I was doing the show America First on YouTube. This is a small company at this time run by Jacob and Joe Seals. They founded it. I get a call from Joe Seals, who runs the company, and he says, what's going on with you and Cassie? I said, well, we had this falling out. You know, she told me she doesn't want to be my friend anymore.
Is Cassie a big name that people know who she is, or?
She was a rising star. She wasn't big at that time. She had 20,000 followers. So she wasn't anybody, but he calls me up and says, the reason I'm asking is because she has been calling me every day for the past 2 weeks, complaining about you and saying, did you see what he said on his show? That's so racist. Did you see what he said on his show? Asking to pull my show off the air.
Got it.
And then it was a couple months later that the first hit piece ever was written about me by Media Matters. And I strongly believe, and I believe there was evidence for this at one point, that she sent in a clip from my show to Media Matters for America, left-wing organization.
Huh. So what is the worst thing you've said? At that time, what is the worst thing you've said? Have you said anything? You've said some crazy things. I mean, I've read some of the stuff that you said. Half the time, I don't know if you're doing it because you're trying to get under people's skin, if you fully believe it, or you're trolling. I don't know. Could be any of those things. Only you know what you're doing at that time when you're making certain comments. But what is the most vile, extreme thing that some people may say you've said up until that point that's causing Cassie to message Media Matters and others saying, you have to see what this guy's saying?
Up to that point, and this was the subject of the article, I was talking about the Muslim ban. And I said the Trump Muslim ban, the travel ban.
Yep.
I said the First Amendment does not apply to radical Muslims. I said you don't have a First Amendment right to preach Wahhabist, Salafist ideology, that's the theology of ISIS.
So you're defending Trump?
Yes.
Okay, that's the worst thing you've said?
That was the subject of the article. That was the worst thing
So
I
you've
said.
not said, so why would she be against that though?
She was in favor of that.
So then what is she forwarding to Media Matters for them to write?
Because she knew that, because it's a left-wing organization, that they would use that to try to get me canceled or banned. It would be negative
and
press.
you know this for a fact that she emailed it? I don't want to put anything. You know for a fact that she's the one that reached out to
I
Media
heard it
Matters.
secondhand, so I don't know what.
So we don't know for a fact. We're just saying you're speculating. She may have done that, but you know that the other person that called you saying for the last 2 weeks, you know that for a fact.
Yes,
that's firsthand.
absolutely.
Okay, fair enough.
Hi, I'm Nick Fuentes. If you want to text me or call.
Yo, it's crazy because like even someone had asked the question like, why would a person like Netanyahu have something to do with you know, it even came down to like Kanye West, I believe, before, but then also what's the other guy's name? Oh man, that just passed. Charlie Kirk. Like, why would Netanyahu have something to say about Charlie Kirk? That should be a head scratcher for people. Go figure. You know, grain of salt, people. Like I always say, grain of salt. All right, let's get to this real quick.
Out of the prime minister mouth himself.
This is Bro Sanchez TV. Make sure y'all sub up to his channel. Let's go. It's a lot of information to
we have to secure that part of the base of our support in the United States. That is being challenged systematically. A lot of this is done with money of NGOs, vast money of governments faster.
You want to know why nothing happens for the people? Because I keep telling y'all, your vote don't matter. What did Netanyahu just say? He said all of this is done with money. Netanyahu is telling you right now, and what let me rewind this just so I can show y'all what they trying to do, first of all. So I can show y'all what they trying to do.
So eventually, TikTok did get sold to an American company. That company is owned by Oracle, and the person that owns Oracle is Larry Ellison. He's a billionaire who is Jewish. And so when TikTok got sold to Oracle, guess what happened?
And the
I'm gonna give this to O'Shea Duke Jackson. O'Shea Duke Jackson has the video, so I'll pull it up. But I'm gonna definitely go back to what my guy says also. All right, let's see.
Elephant in the room, right? So eventually, TikTok did get sold to an American company. That company is owned by Oracle, and the person that owns Oracle is Larry Ellison. He's a billionaire who is Jewish. And so when TikTok got sold,
Oracle's owned by a small hat. All right, let's keep going.
To Oracle, guess what happened?
And the algorithm, I know this is a question many of you have had, will be secured, retrained, and operated in the United States outside of ByteDance's control.
Did you guys hear that? The algorithm will be retrained? Now, they did mention that while the algorithm will be retrained, you'll still be able to see other videos from TikTok across the world. But the United States algorithm will be retrained under the control of Oracle. And Larry Ellison likes control a lot. He's talked about it in the past.
Your body cams will be transmitting that. The police will be on their best behavior because we're constantly recording, watching and recording everything that's going on. Citizens will be on their best behavior because we're constantly recording and reporting everything that's going on.
But how do you get to who goes for shit like this though? Like, who would see something like this and say, hey, you know what? I think this is something that our American people would love to embark on. Like, who would be like down for this, basically? Who wants to be filmed 24/7 in your home, allegedly? Who's the type of people that would go for this type of shit? Anybody in the comments, in the chat, let me know. Are you down for this type of shit, man? Where they're going to be surveilling you 24/7, all because certain people get out here and act an ass in public. You know, they unalive people. They want to hurt people and you know, generalizes that this is what we need for American citizens. Like, this is the path we're leading ourselves down into. Is this the life we want to live? We want to live this life? We want to be surveilled every day, all day, you know, even with the phones in front of your face, they telling you, hey, we see exactly what the hell you're doing. They telling you.
So here he's talking about the future of AI. He wants to control, or AI will control everything, all interactions. As you can hear it, the benefit of this is, it's going to keep everybody honest. That's interesting. But wait a minute. Here's some Israel politicians talking about social media.
The next thing we will do, is to put restriction on the social media.
Wow.
In a way that not allowed to make brutal propaganda in the social media.
So those
this is strange activity right here, man. This shit right here is something that we all should be aware of and completely, you know, we should be wondering why the hell they would be trying to control everything that we say and do in America. This ain't got nothing to do with overseas entities. This has everything to do with American citizens. And we have foreign entities coming in, buying up these products, buying up the services, buying up your social medias. And this is what they want to do with it. They want to control the shit out of you. I mean, I don't know. What can we do besides pay attention to our votes? But like, bro Sanchez just said, our vote don't even matter because the act has already been, done basically.
These are Israel politicians talking about the fact that social media needs to be controlled. Wait a minute, we're going down a rabbit hole here. And then
Which is why, Franklin, and that's exactly why. See, that statement you just said right there, and I'm interacting with you because you're going where I'm going with it. But and I appreciate you being in the chat, rocking out with me too, straight up. But basically, this is why they don't want people like ourselves, people that are not a part of any society or private industry, involved with creating rich men and rich women. They don't want those type of people involved because we're not going to side with them when they say they want to control the fucking world. Majority of the time, we're going to act like a person who just, want to be free to go do what the hell they want to do. We're not going to be on the, you know what? We need to be controlling what people can say on the internet because this can affect the way that we make money. It always has to do with money and corporations or whatever. But that's exactly why they don't want people with billions of dollars like a Kanye West. Because a person like Kanye West, he could sway the opinions of people. He can have them start looking at organizations and industries in a different manner to where, hey, we ain't even rocking with them people, okay? We know a person, how much influence Kanye West has over some Americans, mind. Now he doesn't because they've made him to be this crazy fuck. But honestly, everything he said is kind of coming to fruition. Look at how these people are interacting with our people and changing the way they think and how they view the small hats. Think about that shit. Think about what I just said.
Conservatives that are on the extreme right that are not happy about this at all.
That shit crazy.
The American president has to stand up to this tiny country. For all people say, oh, you think they run the world? They're so tiny. The American president has to stand up to them and say, you are going to stop right now.
Thanks.
And you're going to obey. And if you don't, then we're going to pull the plug. I said it last night. It is past time for that to happen.
Most definitely. I can agree with that.
But would you like to know why the American president can't do that? It's because they control our system.
That's Nick Fuentes complaining about the fact that
they control our system. That's the they people. Who are they? That's the they that they're referring to. Your elitists, those are the people that's shifting and shaping the way that we interact in America, man. We're all being, see, even when it comes to the black and the white wars that have been created in this country, that had nothing to do with us. We're all of us kind of very similar in how we approach things, But look at who's really got their hands in this product that we call America. It has nothing to do with Americans. It has everything to do with everyone else. They're the ones that's received their reparations, and now look what they're doing with their money. So it's just like if black people had got their reparations, what y'all think they would be doing with their money, right? Especially if they were thinking from that standpoint. That's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it.
Some country controls our system. Now, he doesn't say that country by name, but it can be inferred on who he's referring to. Wow. But wait, guys, there's more. Fast forward. Like it or not, Netanyahu doesn't really waste time. He tells it how he feels it. He's not passive aggressive with what he's trying to do. He wants you to understand his game plan, what's going on, and this is how he wants to attack it. Now, he understands that Israel is not so liked in America by certain people right now, and his plan to combat it is unique.
And what we have to do is we have to secure that part of the base of our support in the United States. That is being challenged systematically. A lot of this is done with money. Money of NGOs, vast. Money of governments, vaster. Okay? We have to fight back. How do we fight back? Our influencers. I think you should also talk to them if you have a chance. To that
our
community.
influencers.
Very important. And secondly, we're going to have to use the tools of battle. You know, the weapons change over time. You can't fight today.
So they're basically telling you that they put people in front of you to influence you, for you to think and react a certain way. And once that occurs, then mission complete. Okay? But a lot of our people, we just want to stay and fighting each other and shit. I get it. Y'all make sure y'all hitting the like button. We got 140 people watching. Let's get 100 likes, man. Come on now. Y'all can do better than that. You watching it. You don't like what you watching?
With swords, that doesn't work very well, okay? And you can't fight with cavalry. That doesn't work very well. And you have these new things, you know, like drones, things like that. I won't get into that.
Drones.
You have to fight with the weapons that apply to the battlefields in which we're engaged.
Yo, this is
And the
crazy.
most important ones are the social media. And the most important purchase that is going on right now is class. TikTok. TikTok, number one. And I hope it goes through because it's.
They're telling you how much power the human race has, but we give our power back to these corporations and to these billionaires. We fall right into their hands. You know what I mean? That's basically what he's saying. Like, hey, they could influence the way that people think. But what do? They alter the algorithm to make sure that they're not, you know, speaking and they're not all in the same thought process, basically, you know?
Consequential. And the other one, what's the other one that's most important?
Yeah, tap the screen, people. Like
Yes.
that.
So
Tap
wait
it
a
twice.
minute.
Boom, boom.
This is Netanyahu saying that the main thing that they need to do is to control TikTok.
Wow.
And he wants the deal to go through. And guess what? It did go through. So rewind. So Donald Trump the entire time wanted to get TikTok for an American buyer. But there was only one American buyer he wanted.
But hold on, though. TikTok. So basically, we just heard their prime minister say that he wanted TikTok. And then our president said that he wanted TikTok. It kind of sound like they were on the same mission. Wonder how that worked.
To really sell it to. It was Oracle. Because Oracle is Jewish. And Netanyahu wants it to be owned by a Jewish person. Which means that, in theory, somebody could estimate or believe that TikTok's information or censorship will basically be on the behalf of Israel. That can be inferred because look at what Netanyahu just said. He is willing to pay not only to get TikTok if he needs to, but influencers. He's talking about they have paid influencers because the people who are anti-Israel have money that they're paying. So therefore, he needs to pay. And guess who's one of the paid influencers for Israel? Now, let's talk about Brandon Tatum and his position on the black community.
Yeah, now I do have to agree with this too. I went and listened to a few of his talking points, and it was a head scratch. It's like, bro, you keep repeating the same shit about how black people can change the trajectory of themselves in America, but you're not really hitting on too many things about how we can dominate some shit. Not dominate, but just dominate in our own sector, right? You keep talking about individualism and shit like that. You want to divide us in order for us to conquer ourselves? Like, what type of fucking message is that when we fighting up against nations and government structures and private sectors and shit? Why would we individualize ourselves as black men? Why would we do that? When nobody else does that, but you're siding with the national with the nationality, with a separate nationality. That makes no sense to me.
The blacks, or at least when he first started, Tatum was interested in getting the white conservative dollar. And so he was saying things that racism is not really that big of a deal anymore. Black people are to blame. And we kind of heard that earlier in the video, but those were his talking points. But wait a minute, Tatum started falling out of favor.
We got 134 watching, man. Let's get 100 subs, man. like I said, if you're not enjoying the content, or maybe you're just listening for talking points, maybe whatever you're listening for. But if you're enjoying the content, double tap this goddamn screen, man. Let's get it.
Even with some of his black supporters, when he was downright just not telling the truth.
Most of the time, I agree with you. A lot of the times I agree with you. But it is a lot of the times it sounds like you're defending the white power structure. Like, I experienced I'm 30 years old. What I experienced in life shows me that there's definitely racism and it's definitely systematic. And for you to not see that, it hurts and it's confusing.
Yeah.
Now this person is saying, listen.
And it's like, bro, who's paying you at this point, my brother? You know, it's kind of obvious that you don't stand for your people. You basically selling out. And a lot of times, man, when they come to black people, you can kind of sense like, hey, bro, somebody else is in you. Like you can tell you're on your individualistic shit because somebody's paying you basically to talk in this manner. Cause ain't no way you don't see none of the things that do exist. And like I said, they can exist for different reasons. It doesn't have to be because black and white people hate each other, per se, allegedly. It could be because somebody's just paying you to spew that message. You know what I mean? So there's multiple ways to look at it. But why are you just speaking from that standpoint? Why aren't you siding with what's the obvious? You don't state the obvious. You know what I mean?
Tatum, I usually agree with you, but you're acting like racism is not real or it's not systemic. That's necessarily not true. It is true. Like, I've experienced it. But here's what Tatum is doing now. Tatum has upgraded from just talking bad on the blacks and getting the white conservative money to, well, let's go back to that Turning Point clip. And let's go back when he was arguing with that college student or debating the college student. You see Turning Point USA, right? It's a known fact that Turning Point USA was basically, in one of the donors of Turning Point USA was the Jewish community. All right. Israel spent a lot of money on Turning Point USA.
Yo, think about it now. So you see Charlie Kirk standing there, Turning Point USA. They said that who was funding it or whatever. And then this person just happens to be taken out unalived. Think, people, put those pointers together of what's happening right now in front of us. All of the acts that's being placed in front of us for us to feel and move a certain type of way in order for us to agree with what's to come next, basically.
Charlie Kirk was one of their biggest supporters, and so is Brandon Tatum. Now, with Israel trying to fight hate speech towards the Zionists, well, then we see that Brandon Tatum is a part of that fight. He is basically saying, I stand with Israel, I'm promoting Israel. But wait a minute, Brandon Tatum positions himself in the past as a black conservative. On paper, he's positioning himself as an advocate of the black community because in Turning Point, like, he was trying to be like a diversity guy, trying to reach the youth. But in fact, Brandon Tatum has nothing to do with the black community. Brandon Tatum is a paid operative. He'll go wherever the money is. If it's the white community, he'll go there. If it's Israel, he'll go there. Brandon Tatum has no history, no record of investing or working with black investors to do anything in black America, although that is his forte, according to black conservatives or the white conservatives. He is the bridge to the black community. But clearly we are seeing now is that Brandon Tatum is bought and paid for. That's what we're seeing. On one side, people who are hostile towards blacks, and then on the other side, geopolitical activities. So he's trying to fight this war on both ends. Ultimately, I think that he will lose followers over this because, again, all money may not be good money, but again, his situation is absolutely worse than we thought. So what Brandon Tatum should do is not talk about black America anymore because Brandon Tatum doesn't work with black people at all. Thanks. It's not his focus. Brandon Tatum.
He definitely did it. He definitely did a, let me see. Let's go back to this.
Algorithm, I know this is a question many of you have had, will be secured, retrained, and operated in the United States outside of ByteDance's control.
Did you guys hear that? The algorithm will be retrained? Now, they did mention that while the
network of drones that's policing American citizens, they also want to really step their game up with social media censorship by saying that a lot of these crimes can be prevented by stopping people from spewing certain rhetoric online.
See, that's another thing. Like, they think that because people sit in chats and they listen to whatever, content creators making, that they're going to take it upon themselves to go out and commit these awful acts, right? And then they try to say, well, they're targeting these types of people. And it's like, but obviously y'all don't show all of the crime and the acts done in the world on the news all the time. You only show certain acts, right? Well, yeah, so I also have a clip right here where someone basically said who Jesus was or whatever. And that guy's an influencer of the small hats. So yeah, I mean, hell yeah. But on top of that, the things that they portray in the media for the most part are the acts where people will look at it and say, wow, I want those things to, come to a halt. I don't want people to act in this manner. I think that we should police these people a little more. And yeah, and if they're coming from social media, then we need to put a piece of tape over their mouth. Even like myself, like I said yesterday, there was a lot of conversation about people just hear you talking. And like I said, you could use common sense, common knowledge with a lot of these talking points. And they don't want to hear you talking because they feel as if the media gave them everything they need to know about a topic like this. Let's keep going.
And as well as that aspect, they're also saying that we should train police to use social media more, which they've already been doing, to actually prevent crimes by saying if people posting maybe anti-Semitic, if let's say you on Facebook talking about Netanyahu, okay, authorities are gonna, third party companies, not the government, because listen, if the government directly spy on y'all, that's a crime.
All right.
They can't do that.
All right.
Let me give a shout out to Serrata. What about the zero crime for them pre-crime rules? For them pre-crime rules for thee, not for me, aristocrat, tech boy, transhumania, do not comply, family.
Yeah,
much love.
They have to find some reason for you to be, become monitored. So they have to tie you to some type of hate speech or some type of premeditated crime that may be committed. Those types of things, and they want to place it on certain groups, certain people of this is how they, conduct themselves on a daily manner. They're promoting hate speech about these certain groups. It's a lot of different bullshit rhetoric that's being spewed. Has nothing to do with how a person truly feels. They're just speaking their mind, but it always get coined as hate speech and things like that. Let's keep going.
Serrata, man, for real. Shout out to the sister.
Okay, I played all these clips.
With the swords, that doesn't work very well. Okay.
I think I played
surveillance
all
and
these clips.
social media control. And what do we see happening in America's media circus? Mass shootings.
Yeah.
Guess what's going to kill two birds with one stone? Mass shooters. If people want to know why there's been so many mass shootings in the past couple of years, and all of them look the same with the shooter killing himself or being crazy, it's because this is a psyop. Who control all of these media platforms? Netanyahu.
Y'all gotta remember, man, they think Americans aren't the smartest bunch in the group of different nationalities, man. They think that we don't process this type of information. They think we get fed by small hat media. They think that we're completely distracted with entertainment. It's so many different things that they feel like we can't even comprehend because we're so fucking distracted. They got us on bad diets. Our kids aren't learning at the same speeds as other nationalities. We're not as intelligent as everyone else. And so now at this point, they can put anything in front of our people and think we'll go for it because of the way we react to each other. Even when you go speak to your former, American, a man standing beside you, the conversation goes but so far because a lot of us want to go with what they're feeding us instead of doing a little bit more research about what's being spewed to us. All right. That's what the hell is going on in front of us. And that's the things we got to pick up on in order for us to kind of, take over what the hell is being done to our people. Like, we just gonna go for this? We just gonna go for them taking over our talking media outlets? We gonna go for bad, the bad diets? Are we gonna just stand for these things, or we gonna make our attempts to change it? And the only way we're gonna be able to change it is to help, stand up against this shit. But a little bit more of this, and then I'm up out of here.
The small hats, the Zionists, Israel controls all of the media outlets in America. Let me give a shout out to Goonho. He said a sound a clock makes. Our bomb is TikTok. Goonho, thank you, bro. It don't matter which company you listen to. All of them reading the same script.
Yeah, most definitely.
Because they control all these platforms. And every platform going to have the same narrative after these shootings. Let's blame social media versus the damn shooter. Let's watch normal work. Let's put drones in the sky and let's surveil the ghetto and slums and normal working people. But these shooters come from the suburbs, y'all. That's right. Let's put a surveillance infrastructure up in the inner city, the metropolitan areas, certain zones, right? But these mass shooters don't come from none of those areas. Let's watch all the people that's mocking Charlie Kirk's death and not the ones that caused it. Remember, even Erica Kirk, the wife, she said, I forgive the shooter and his family, but we got to do something about these people that's mocking and all that and social media and all that. She didn't say it in those words, but in her words, that's what she's saying. Ain't that backwards, y'all? This is a psyop. Everybody first response is, let's shut everybody up and police everybody. And ain't nobody waking up seeing what's going on.
Nope.
And one of the biggest third-party companies that's building these new drone automated security systems in America, guess what they're called, y'all? Flock safety. Oh, did that go over your head?
Flock safety.
Did that go over your head, man?
Fucking flock safety, man. They're guiding the flock of sheep. They think we're sheeple, bro. They think that we cannot. What's up, Sheriff Claire? How you doing? They think that we can't put two sentences together to understand anything that's being placed in front of us, and we're going to go straight to our media to get our information instead of speaking out amongst the crowd, amongst other Americans, so that we all can be on the same page, on one accord. All right? Shout out to Akira subbing up to the channel. They think that we're never going to do that. They think that we're just going to fall for whatever they put in front of us, okay? And there's more where this came from. I'm going to definitely keep talking about these types of subjects. Let's go.
They're called flock safety.
Flock safety.
What that means, Sanchez?
Group y'all asses all back together.
I mean, a flock is like a whole bunch of animals that's being controlled.
Control.
Yeah, this company is called Flock Safety. They're going to be one of the biggest government contractors when they go to implement these automated systems. But they always have a code in the name. And just think about that. Like, Flock Safety is literally telling you, we got we going to make sure we keep your cattle safe. Well, not keep them safe, but we going to make sure you safe from any potential threats that may be within your flock of sheep. Flock safety.
And people gonna go for it too, man. That's the unfortunate part. It's like you always get these groups of people, like they get some type of incentive from it or something. Like they'll try to sell 100 of these shits just to make sure they make what is it, like make sure that they can get their bonus, just to make sure that they make their what is it called? Not compensation, but they're gonna make sure that they get paid to sell these fucking products. Not even knowing that they're using that shit to surveil all of the human specimens in America. It's like they just keep pulling these stunts on our people and we keep falling for that shit. Not me, man. I don't fall for none of that shit no more. Other than that, it's your boy L Boogie Reacts. Make sure y'all hit the like button, sub up to the channel. We got 52 people watching. Commission. Thank you, smart boy. Appreciate that, bro. I could not find that word to save my life. Because I don't like to work off commission. You got to sell some weird products sometimes, and that shit just don't work. You be like, man, I don't even want to sell this shit. What the hell am I doing here? All right. Make sure y'all sub up to the channel if you haven't already. And hit that like button. It's your boy L Boogie Reacts. Make sure you hug your loved ones. Let them know how much you love them. Tomorrow's never promised, people. And we are in weird times in America, man. You know what I'm saying? We just gotta watch each other's backs and, you know, get off the bullshit with each other. Let's go have some conversation. Let's have some dialogue so that we can stand up against this bullshit, you know, system that we fighting against at this moment. Other than that, we up out of here. It's your boy L Boogie Reacts. Salute to y'all, and I'm gone, man. Oh, and appreciate all the new subs too. Make sure y'all sub up to the channel if you haven't already. But appreciate all the new subs that came in and rocked out with your boy L Boogie Reacts. We got 50 people watching. Let's get the rest of y'all to go ahead and hit the like button and also sub up to the channel if you haven't already. Other than that, we gone. Stay tuned for more content. And that's it, man.